Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Building in Your Underpants with Caable Guy. And in today's episodes, I'm going to show you how I like to make small lakes and the stone arches that you see in the back there. So I hope you enjoy today's episode. Okay, so the first thing I like to do when I'm making a small lake is obviously you got to dig it out. So let me get to it and I'll show you what I come up with. Alright. Now I think I have something that'll make an interesting looking little lake here. And so next thing I like to do is I like to replace all the dirt where the water is going to be above with sand. Now you can use whatever block that you want to use under here. I just like to use sand because it makes it, I just think it's a lot cleaner looking. And I know you could use, concrete or something like that if you wanted to make a design under it or whatever, but for me, for this episode, I'm just going to use sand. So give me 1 second. Alright, man, just about done there. So as you can see, I think this looks really good, and once you add the water to it, it'll look even better. So when you do it in survival, I would suggest using just regular ice and just punch it so it breaks, so you don't have to carry around 1,000 buckets of water. But for this, I'm just going to use a bucket. And usually you want to start on the bottom, not goof there. So be right back when I have it filled in. Okay, now that we have the little lake filled in with all water sources, the next thing I like to do is add lighting. And I like to use a combination of sea lanterns and trap doors and sea pickles. And you just put like that. And then with the sea pickles, you can add 1 to 4 in a spot, and 1 being the lowest light and 4 being the highest. So that will give you the highest light source. And just keep going around adding, just however you think they'll look best. And I will show you what it looks like as soon as I get back. Okay, now all the lighting's in. So next is just kind of finishing details. And so I really like to use the seagrass. I like the animated look. Now you can use bone meal, but I think that it's just too dense. And you could always just use shears and get more. But I just like to plant it and not have it as dense. And then use bone meal on the 1 tall, and you'll get the 2 tall. And I really like the way the tips of it stick out of the water. I think that is really neat looking. So just add it here and there. I like to place it by hand. It gives you more control over how they place. Just like that. And I also like to use kelp. Just any variation of it. Just any variation of the green. I think it looks really well under the water. Like that. And then throw some lily pads on top for good measure. Okay, let me show you what it looks like when it's all complete. Okay, so now I've got all the detail work done. And, I think we could use a stone arch to connect this little lake to this little hill right here, I think. And so, what I like to do when I'm making these is I like to start off with how thick I want it at the bottom. And don't worry about covering up the seagrass and stuff. It's okay. So let's just get it. I think that'll be a good starting thickness, and it'll look kind of round when we get done. So just bring it up a couple. And now that you have it above water, what you want to do, you'll want to make another one of my favorite things, a guideline, to connect this to here. The same way I did with these trees over here. Or the tree. So, just start bringing it up. Don't make it straight, because that's, like I said before, that's boring. You want to keep it kind of rounded. And you don't want to do that again, because I think that's too sharp still. So, just kind of, I like to use a kind of a rule of a 2-1-2 for a corner when I'm doing organic structures. And you have, you have 2 straight, and you have 1, and then you have two going the other way. And I think that keeps it really curved pretty well. So get this guideline in and I'll show you what I come up with. Alright, now when you're connecting this guideline to the tree, don't be afraid to take out a block to make it look like it's really going in there. And then what you'll want to do is you'll want to have the how thick do you want it when you get to here, because you don't want to keep it the same thickness the whole way. It's interesting to change it up a little bit. So usually I like to do something about like that, and so change that block. Now it looks like it's going to go into there. So just like that, and you'll want to add, blocks here and there to make it, you want it to make it look like it flows right. And so now that you have that, another thickness that I like to use when I'm doing these is like this. Just this plus pattern right here. I think it helps change up the shape of it. So do that, and then when you connect these, just kind of fill it in where it looks right. I mean, there's really no right and wrong when you do these. You just kind of want to help it flow, kind of like that. And you'll want to have it arch, sort of like that at the top, and then it'll steep down back to the bottom. And so up here, we'll keep this same thickness for a little bit on the way up, but about right here we'll want it to start turning. Let's do it from this way. So this is what I like to do here. And then you'll want to connect this to here, and I'll show you how I do that. Just kind of give yourself a little guide, another guideline. It will help you tremendously. See, like that. Just kind of fill in the blocks, what I like to say, and then you can kind of go in and touch it up to see where you think it needs to have more and where it needs to have less. Like right here, I think I need to take that one out, and I'll add it up there. 2 down there. Just kind of, like I said, help it flow. You want to, you want it to look natural, and it's not going to be perfect by any means. Not when you make this small of a structure with blocks. So, something sort of like that, and maybe even take the thickness down on this. Yeah, happy with that. Now when you go to connect this down here, you'll want to make some more guides, of course. It's once you do it a few times, you really start getting the hang of it. So, and you'll want to, let's say I started from right here, so you'll want to correspond that corner to up here, to this one. So to me, that's connected like that. And you'll want to do the same on these sides. And I like to do these sides first, and then I'll do the back, because the back sometimes can make it look really weird if you don't do it right. So just connect this one up to here. Like this. Let's keep it over here for a second. Alright. On the back. The back sometimes can make it look really wonky if you don't get it right. So don't be afraid to play around with it, so, until you have something you're happy with. So I think we just about got the lines here. There we go. And I think by the time you get those in and you have a look at it, you can really start understanding what it's going to look like by the time it's done. So I'll fill these blocks in, and I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, and this is the shape I came up with. And I think it flows pretty well. It's thick down here, thinner up here. And the transition between the two thicknesses is pretty is pretty consistent, and the arch flows really well, I think. So the next thing I like to do, and it helps break up, you know, the blockiness of this, is to add slabs and stairs. You know, you don't want to add too many of them, and you can add, you know, whatever slab and stair that you want to. You know, just kind of add them here, kind of randomly. You know, it really kind of helps break it up. So, just a few. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. And if you want to add lighting to this, go ahead. But I like to leave these kind of dark. That's just my personal preference for when the sun goes down. Because they look kind of dangerous, so I think they should be a little dangerous. Okay, so the last thing I like to do is I like to add a little vine made out of leaves, connecting the stone arch to the little hill. And I think it will add a really nice detail to it as well. Now the first thing you want to do when you do this, you're just going to want to figure out where you want where the lowest point is going to sag. And I think about right here would be good. So once you do that, you just want to kind of build it up until you connect it, kind of like so. You know, like that, and then have it kind of bring it up to your arch, to the arch. That, and what I like to do is I like to have these kind of wrap over the arch and have it hang down a little bit. I think that adds a really nice effect to it. You know, so. And I always just use, when I'm doing these, I just use one type of leaf first. And then I'll go back and I'll add in the acacia and the spruce after. And you know, you can kind of thicken them up a little bit. Add a little bulk to it and replace some. That way it doesn't look like it's just one leaf. So, kind of like this. And then, of course, I like to finish with my spruce. You know, and this will make it look really greeny. So, just add a few more here, a few there. You know, keep it flowing real nice. And when you're done, you'll have something that looks really nice. See? Kind of like that. And I really like the way that it droops and hangs over the tree. I think it really adds a lot of life to the arch. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good day. Bye.